Yeah, well, we'll get to the list. There's one guy in particular I want to talk about
Yeah.
first because he's someone Ohio State's trying to steal, and that's five-star edge guy Richard Wesley. Wesley actually committed to Oregon just a couple weeks ago, just on May 10th, so this is a relatively new commit, but he has still decided to schedule official visits. He is not just limiting his official visits to certain schools. Like he's still visiting like 3 or 4 different schools, including Ohio State. And he will actually be on campus August 30th, which that is going to be the day of the Texas game. So he's going to be there for perhaps the biggest game that Ohio State plays this year. And that can be an intoxicating thing for a recruit, especially since the time of the game still seems to be a bit wishy-washy. So that could be a big-time environment that could sway a really big-time recruit.
Mm-hmm.
He's, like I said, he's a five-star recruit. He is someone that Ohio State would love. He's out of Sierra Canyon, which for those who know anything about, basketball, that's where Bronny James went to. LeBron James's kid. That's that same high school. He's 6'5", 250. He's a big dude. He's a number 2 edge recruit in the country. And he actually reclassified. He initially was in the 27 class, but he reclassified to the 26 class. And he would certainly help Ohio State's issues of rushing the passer. So he is visiting, like I said, August 30th. I know that's not quite this weekend or the next couple weekends, but he's someone that Ohio State would love to have. What are your thoughts on Wesley?
It was surprising. When it came, I saw probably I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes after Hayes posted it, and I was like, whoa! I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
It was shocking. Wasn't on my mind. Richard Wesley was on my mind, and then of course you see the date that he visits. Again, I wish this was a night game for those exact reasons. But I truly believe that this is going to be a moment for Larry Johnson. Now, recently, I posted the video of a segment about Larry Johnson last week,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a particular person on there that was upset about how I was talking about Larry, and then he posts what Larry had been doing over the last 3 recruiting cycles. I don't think he understood that Larry getting 250 top defensive linemen is below what he's supposed to be doing. But
yeah, but, especially for the precedent that he set. He set his own precedent.
Boom, exactly. But there's a reason why the kid still wants to take a visit to Ohio State. We've talked about Larry Johnson before, and I've told you at the end of the day, he's in these battles for a lot of these high-end players, and it's because a lot of these players, these high school kids, still find value in Larry Johnson, and they like him. They truly do. They know his name. They know what he means to college football. He's a good coach. That can't be dismissed. Yep. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to highly assume that Matt Patricia is going to be a part of this. Ryan Day is going to be a part of this.
Yep.
This is not so if we weren't, we can't get mad if we don't land him. He's committed somewhere already.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, will I still give? If somehow we were to pull this off, I will give Larry a good chunk of credit. But there's no way I don't believe that this is. There's no way I don't believe that this is not a Matt Patricia and Ryan Day type of thing.
Matt Patricia would for sure be leading the recruitment. It seems like he's doing that with most of the defensive line recruits because it seems like Larry Johnson can't be bothered to get off his fat ass, get on the recruiting trail, and actually try to get these kids into the program. And he's 73 years old, and that's fine. You've done everything you need to do. Just retire, man. But again, I'll get off my soapbox. We've had that conversation 3 or 4 months ago. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's not going to be visiting anytime soon. There are some recruits who will be visiting.
Real quick, because so Darin says, I'm a few who don't like flipping. You're a Buckeye or you're not. That's just me.
Well, I'll say this to Darin. Ohio
Yeah,
State doesn't typically Ohio State doesn't flip a whole lot of guys. Like, they don't flip a whole lot of recruits who are already committed elsewhere. They've had some guys who have flipped from them, but they don't flip a whole lot of guys because they do kind of subscribe to that credo where either you like us on first blush or you don't. Like, the most prominent recruit that I can remember Ohio State flipping here in the last few cycles was Jordan Hancock when he flipped from Clemson. So again, and that was obviously a while ago. Hancock's now in the NFL, so they don't do this a whole lot.
No, with the last ones, they're Lincoln flipped.
Yeah.
I'm
talking about guys who like play.
No, I know what you mean, but I mean, I'm generalizing the statement here.
Sure.
I do tend to agree with I've never been a big fan of kids who flip on a whim, right? But I'll say this, Darin, as someone who's been through a recruiting process as a 17, 18-year-old kid, I barely know the girls I want to date. You think I know what college I want to go to? So I do align. I understand, and I somewhat align with your thinking. And Ohio State, as a program, in all reality, Darin, they more so align with your thinking. They and like Ryan just said. But please, Darin, let me tell you right now, this isn't Boo Boo the Fool. This isn't some like I saw was it last week when a bunch of Michigan fans were. I saw like a bunch of eyes going everywhere, and I'm like, oh dang, like who are they about to get? And then it's at the number 686 recruit.
Yeah, some 3-star bum.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Larry Johnson getting a chance to get him another Jack Sawyer and JTT. That's the thing. So I can't be upset about it, but I do know what you're saying. Cause like, what if a kid was like a Jaden Rashada, stay far away from that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Far away from a recruit like that.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, there's a few months between now and the Texas game when he's going to be visiting, so we'll see. But there is another 5-star guy.
I mean, heck, Darin, I barely know I want it for dinner every day. You want? I'm 32.
Yeah. But there is a 5-star recruit who will be visiting here in very, very soon, and that is 5-star tackle Felix Ojo. And this guy, he's a big one. Ojo is the number 2 tackle in the country. He is only behind Jackson Cantwell. 247 Sports actually has him as the number 1 tackle by their rankings.
Yeah.
But he's the number 2 in the composite. And he will be visiting this upcoming weekend. And, right now, there are some who think he's going to end up at Texas, but his recruitment is still wide open. He is considering several schools, including, obviously, like I said, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, again, Michigan. He'll be visiting there too. So this is a pretty big visit that, he's got coming up, because after he visits Ohio State this weekend, he goes to Michigan the following weekend, Texas the weekend after, and then Oklahoma round out his visits on June 20th. He visited Florida last weekend. So, this is somewhat in that Tyler Bowen could really stamp his recruiting chops with. I mean, he's 6'6", 275. He's a big, talented dude. And he would be the first 5-star offensive line recruit that Ohio State has landed since Paris Johnson Jr. So this is someone I really want Ohio State to land after they weren't able to get Gainwell. What are your thoughts on Ojo?
Do I believe we're going to get him? No. And that's just my honest opinion about why Ryan's looking at the team leads, trying to see the forest from the trees. But with that being said, nothing's impossible for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Nothing's impossible for the Ohio State Buckeyes. No, and based
on what I've heard, they've got a better shot to land him than what people think.
Well, this is why. Well, I'm being pessimistic. That's why I'm just being pessimistic.
Okay.
Because I'm trying not to get my hope. Like there's two. Oddly, there's two. Like in Wesley, like there are two positions on the team right now where I do not know if we can get the high end guys, and that's offensive line and defensive line. But I do have a lot of confidence, and I just need to see it. Tyler Warren, I believe I think there's been a slow.
Tyler Bowen.
Tyler Bowen. I'm sorry, I said Tyler Warren. Tyler Bowen.
Tyler Warren's out for the Indianapolis Colts. Let's go Colts.
Yeah. Oh, shut up. But there's a slow trickle right now of I think for Tyler Bowen and his recruiting, and I think that I don't know if it's Ojo. There's a really good chance it could be like you said, because like you said, there's been like I've been trying to like stay pessimistic. You have been seeing, of course, you're bigger on recruiting than I am about, or you know more than I do recruiting, and so I trust what you're saying. But I do have more confidence right now than I would have in the last few years.
Yeah,
I have much more confidence in it. I think Tyler Bowen, again, I can like. He's been an offensive line. He was an offensive line coach, 7 years ago? Okay, fine. But the guy is a recruiter. So at the end of the day, and we have other assistants that help out with the offensive line. So, but I do believe if we were to get Ojo, that's I think that would almost be he might not finish as the highest ranked player in the class, but I think he's the jewel. I think he's the jewel of the class. Unless we were to get
because he's in a position of need.
Yes.
Well, sure. Yeah. Well, he's in a position of need. I mean, right now, the highest ranked player in the class is Chris Henry Jr. And he's wide receiver, but Ohio State's got stable wide receivers. Like they've got other dudes who can play. The offensive line is not as deep. So grabbing Ojo would honestly be kind of a program changer at the offensive line level.
It is.
Because he's someone who could come in and start day one. Like he's that good.
Carter Lowe was ranked what in his class?
Carter Lowe, I think he was. I mean, he was a 4-star guy, so he wasn't.
Wait a second. He's a 4-star, but we're gonna say
he was ranked as the 72nd overall recruit. He was the 14th overall offensive tackle, and the third best tackle in the state of Ohio.
Was he like a 9.6, 9.5? 9.5?
Yeah, I mean, he was according to the 247 composite, he was a 4-star. He was 96.
9. Okay. No. Yeah. I was just curious, but yeah, man. I really believe if someone could do it, it's Tyler Bowen.
Yeah.
And unlike our esteemed LJ, I don't think he needs the help of Ryan Day. So or Brian Hartline. Although I will say having Brian Hartline in there as the OC is not a bad thing.
Doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Brian Hartline, like I do want to stress this for a second. It's off topic. He may still be the wide receiver coach, but he has to go and talk to these other positions now. So
yeah. Sure. Any other specific recruit that you want to talk about who's going to be visiting here soon?
Oh yeah. So Haider's going to be there. Griffin's going to be there. Let's break it down. We went over through this Ojo. How do you feel about Savian Haidider, the 5-star Savian Haidider, and the 5-star Xavier Griffin right now?
So Savian Haidider is someone that I feel very confident in choosing Ohio State, and I feel confident that way because of the fact that Michigan actually went ahead and offered another running back here in the last couple of weeks. So they don't even think they're going to land him. And to me, I think it's between Ohio State and Tennessee. And for those who don't know, Savian Haidider is the #1 running back in the country. 5-star kid from the state of Virginia. And the last time Ohio State landed a 5-star running back like that as a recruit was Trevion Henderson, and he's from the state of Virginia. So they've got a track record of pulling the guys from that area. He seems to really like Ohio State. He's someone who is going to be visiting again this weekend with Ojo. And then he'll take a visit to Georgia, Michigan, and then Tennessee. I think it's between Ohio State and Tennessee because when he visits Tennessee in June, that'll be the second time he's visited there in a couple months because he just was there a couple days ago.
Yep.
So I think Tennessee's the hurdle there. But I would love to see him in Scarlet Gray because I love how he runs.
So I had a conversation with my guy Juju. He's a Wolverine fan, and he I forgot what running back he said he thinks another running back is fits their system better, and I was like, I didn't know running backs had to fit systems.
Yeah, come on.
But he said that's why he would rather have him than Savian Haidider, and I was like, what you're basically saying is you don't think you guys are going to get him, so you're trying to pick another guy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Like I'd rather you just say that. But the developed kid. Again, like I've played this position. I've studied this position for a very long time because I love running backs because it's the most instinctual position on the field. I would say it's that and linebacker. It's a very instinctive position. I mean, you get the ball. As soon as you get the ball, man, you're up against it. Someone can be in your face at that moment in time. You gotta make a move. I mean, I always one of the best plays I've ever seen by a running back. It was Beanie Wells in the game against Michigan, and as soon as he got the ball, he had a defensive tackle in his face, spun off him, just like that. He's every running back can't do that. Or most running backs can, but he not in the elite level. And I think he can do that. He's strong. I think he has. I wouldn't call him. I don't think he has elite speed, but I think he has good really good football speed. And I don't need my running back.
He's got breakaway speed. Like once he gets past that first level, he can take it to the house.
Yeah, he's got a second gear. He's got a second gear, which is really important. So like when I watch him play, man, I watch it. I'm like, man, like, you know, he's not 5'9". He's not 170 pounds. We're talking 6 foot, 200. Like it's the type of kid you want. I mean, you look at your broad shoulders, big chest, large thighs. I mean, and as a running back, you want to have that because you run with high knees. Guys go along you, kick him in the jaw. He runs really, really high knees. So Coach Lachlan, I think it's for him is to a point where it's not even about can he coach position. I think for him, he's just trying to get the right kid in there, and I think or young man in there, and I think these players, man, Coach Lachlan has an aura about him. Like I feel like there's no way you can be around him and feel like you're not gonna learn something, you're not gonna smile, you're not gonna laugh, you're not gonna see a father figure. When you go to college, man, your father figure is your coaches. So no, I'm actually really confident in his recruitment. I wouldn't put a crystal ball on it, but if you told me that Savian Haidider committed to Ohio State, I wouldn't be surprised. And then 2 other guys. Luke Waffle and Jay Cruel.
Unfortunately, with Waffle, we didn't exactly get a great report from him recently. He seemed, he just visited Florida. I don't know. We'll see about that.
We're not gonna get it. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I do.
Which I think is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But I do believe with the Waffle news and with Wesley still being committed to Oregon, I think you have to get Cruel. You have to get Cruel. Now, and the reason is he's the second highest defensive end you're looking like. He's the only second highest defensive ranked defensive end you're looking at really that you have a really good chance at. Let's say it that way. Am I confident in that? No,
I'm not.
and Darin, Wesley, this is actually the crux of the problem right here. Waffle and Cruel are 2 very athletic defensive ends. They have bend. I'll tell you what, they have everything Jack doesn't have. They have bend, they have moves, and they're more athletic. So like and they look like you like Ryan. And so it's like I can't help myself.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, they're Caucasian, so like, but they're really good athletes. Like they're actually no, they're elite athletes that can be built.
They're good athletes,
having better elite size, because these are guys that are going to get bigger when they get into college. So if we are not able to pull that down, like, look, dude, this is why our problem is with LJ. And I'm going to say what I said last time. This is not me bashing him. This is not me coming for his job, even though I think our defensive line coach is in Texas right now, and Clark.
Yeah.
But these are the moments where he has to perform. You know what, Ryan? I think I might have this, and I'll let you talk about them real quick. I'm gonna pull this up.
Okay.
No, you can talk about it. I'm gonna pull this up.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. So I feel better about a chance of landing Cruel than I do Waffle.
Yes.
And so to answer here, Wes, you asked, where do we hear that we're out, Ohio State have a shot at Waffle? They still do have a shot, but he just visited Florida. And according to Steve Wilfong, on 3, he really loved his visit to Florida. And he said, I could see myself playing at Florida. You don't typically, you don't have players coming out and saying that for no reason. So, and he's got visits still. Obviously, he's visiting Ohio State this weekend. Then he's got visits with USC, Penn State, and Texas after that. So, they've got some of the bigger, all the big guys are going after him. And it's not just his visit to Florida that gives me pause. It's the fact that over the last couple of years, the track record of Larry Johnson landing these kinds of guys just hasn't been high. So that's why our confidence is so low, because in the past it was like, okay, yeah, we're getting JT Tuimoloau, we're getting Jack Sawyer, we're getting Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. Like, these are guys that we just have come to expect to land, and we felt good about that because Larry had the track record of landing those guys. Over the last couple classes, they've been striking out on those guys, as Garrison mentioned before.